golfj.com.
And good evening, everybody. Welcome to the golfj.com podcast here on FingerLakes1.tv. I'm Jim Sinicropi alongside Rhett Ticconi and Doug Brown here inside the FingerLakes1.com studios on the third floor of the North Park building in Seneca Falls, New York. It's Monday, August 7th, 2017. Tonight, tons to talk about. It's our big PGA Championship Preview edition, final major of the year. I'll spend a lot of time talking about that. I'll give you a quick review of the Ballhawk golf ball finding glasses. We'll talk about Hideki Matsuyama winning at the Bridgestone, Chris Stroud getting his first PGA Tour victory in 290 events. And before we talk about any of that, guys, I think I want to kick it off talking about Steph Curry, because it's one of the most interesting things that happened in all of golf this week, I think, is Steph Curry giving it a go on the web.com tour and shooting 74-74 and beating some world-ranked golfers. Of course, Steph Curry, Golden State Warriors, basketball player, not a pro golfer, but it seems to me that if he wanted to, he could give it a run.
He's a stick.
Yeah, this guy's for real. Other guys have done this and haven't even come close. Think about Tony Romo tried to qualify for a couple things. There was a quarterback for the Redskins. I think his name was
Mark Rippon.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. Used to try. Never really got close. But, 74-74, highly respectable. Right? I mean, like you said, he beat some of the players. And I'm not sure how much time he really practices.
And he had a couple bad holes where really, the rounds could have been, we always could have better rounds. But he could have been 72s or 71s, really.
Right.
I mean, he's a very good golfer, though, from what I've read in the past. And, has...
It's amazing, though, to me, because he could... Look, the over and under in Vegas for his worst round was 79. And I was like, that over is a lock. Because there's no way this guy's going to come into a pro golf event, his first one ever. And I'm not talking Hooters Tour here. We're talking web.com.
One step away.
Yeah, pretty much not the top 125 players in the world, but the next top 125, in the world. Great golfers, just really can play with any PGA Tour pro at any given day.
Right.
I just thought it was a whole nother world. Plus, he is a good golfer, but all basketball season, he doesn't golf. He doesn't have time to golf. He plays a couple times during the course of the NBA season. Then he treats his off season like a second season for just golf. And apparently, I just can't believe, the short game required the touch, the putting to shoot 74 on a tournament track on the web.com tour. I can't believe that he did it. And it shows me that if he wanted to, now don't get me wrong, he didn't make the cut. He's not going to earn any money shooting 74. But if he wanted to, he could really give it a go. He could quit basketball, say I'm going to be a pro golfer, and be legitimate about it. And it's just amazing to me. Remember Michael Jordan said I'll play on the senior tour one day, and that was a joke.
Right.
No, not happening.
But Steph Curry, once he hits 30-32, he could try to get his PGA Tour card if he wanted to step away from basketball.
So he's played a lot of golf, obviously, as a kid, things like that, growing up. And he's obviously a tremendous athlete, which makes it a lot easier, too. Yeah. So I give him credit. I hope someday, he's not going to play basketball when he's 40. Probably not, right? Be nice to see him give a second tour or second career a try.
At the least, you would think that he'd have a future as like a regular on the web.com or something along those lines. Maybe he doesn't make it all the way up to the PGA Tour, but he could play the web.com for a while and lead into maybe a senior tour run for a while. Who knows?
Sure.
He wouldn't need the money, so he could legitimately say, I'm gonna play. We wouldn't have to worry about financial considerations. Right. And then there was the argument of, well, he's taking a spot away from, another guy. Well, guess what? This was a big deal for the web.com tour, and I think the PGA Tour really missed the boat by not putting this thing on television, because a lot of people would have watched, and a lot of people who have never golfed before would have watched.
Right. I mean, who's talking about this tournament on the web.com tour if Steph Curry doesn't play in it this week? You know what I mean?
Right,
Yeah.
nobody.
No exposure whatsoever, and
Right.
they got more mileage than the Barbasol did. I
Right.
mean,
Yeah, you're probably right. And that wasn't televised. And that was televised.
right. So I mean, they definitely, that argument of he's taking a spot away from somebody. I always wonder, how is that valid? I mean, it's sponsored exemption, so I mean, those are given out to many people.
Right.
So those people are usually fringe guys, anyways, at the best. Unless for whatever reason in the past couple of years now, Tiger's gotten a couple of them, or Bryson DeChambeau.
That's what they're there for. Sponsors can choose. They're paying the bill. They can put
Right.
whoever they want in there. So he's not really taking a spot away from
Right.
everybody. I don't think. And anybody.
I tell you what, though, I know I was reading all the tweets from the pro guys who I think had doubts Tuesday, Wednesday, and saw him go out there and shoot that 74 on Thursday. They had a whole different mindset about him and what his abilities are just as an athlete.
Right.
After they saw what he did the first day. Now,
Right. Plus, he followed it up with another decent score. It wasn't like the 74 on Thursday was one of those best days of my life type thing.
Yeah.
He came right back with basically, obviously, the same score. I assume he played equally as well.
right?
So it's not like he was a flash in the pan. He shot 4 over par, missed a cut. However, very, very respectable.
Yep.
I would have lost my shirt if I got to Vegas because I would have put it all on the over for that 79. I can't believe he did that.
Yeah.
So if Jim Sinicropi played in that tournament and shot 74-74, there'd be a ticker tape parade in Seneca Falls.
Right.
Yeah, I can't shoot 74-74 at Seneca Falls Country Club. But
I think great accomplishment. I hope he gets a couple more invites before, because NBA basketball starts up here again pretty soon as far as practice
September.
goes in September.
Yeah.
I think what will happen is he'll, maybe pick up another event somewhere. It might not even be a web.com tour,
Right.
but I think he'll be back next year at this particular tournament
Sure will.
again.
Yeah. No doubt.
And then, like you say, after a few years, when he is retired from basketball, he'll still be a relatively young man, and
Sure.
the Champions Tour wouldn't be out of the question, and it wouldn't be out of the question for him to just give it a shot, the PGA Tour card.
Right. No, I think he definitely has those aspirations. I know.
Oh, sure.
Reading some articles in the past, and he was on the cover of Golf Digest a couple years ago.
Yeah.
About his love of the game and athletes in golf, and he was way up the list. So
Even if he played basketball until he was 36,
yeah.
it's a long career.
Was he 28 now? 26.
He's been around for a little
27?
bit.
It's been about 6-7 years he's been in the league, I think.
Yeah,
So if he plays till he's 36, we'll say, 'cause not many go past that,
yeah.
right? Now he's 14 years
Especially
before
guards.
the senior tour. That's a lot of time. So you got to go for the regular one if you're going to go,
Right.
Yeah.
which
Right,
gets him
right.
back on the web.com to start out with.
And I would like to believe with the resources he has that he could really, if he was devoting full time to
Yeah.
golf.
The best teachers.
No doubt.
So, well, it's something interesting to talk about and to think about. And it's the first time I think I've ever seen an athlete cross over like that and be respectable.
Right.
So I think it was almost it's all, I don't want to say it's negative, but you almost hope as a pro golfer that he is going to shoot a high score so you can say, yeah, see how
Yeah.
hard it is. But
Right.
Steph Curry was like,
Yeah.
I could do this.
He's had quite a week. He went from trolling LeBron at a wedding to hanging out with a bunch of guys on a random party, chugging Budweisers with them, and then going to the web.com tour. So
Well, I suppose it's good to be Steph Curry, that's for sure.
no doubt.
But also good to be Hideki Matsuyama. He just lit it up at Firestone over the weekend, cruising the Akron, Ohio course in a record 61 strokes on Sunday to capture the WGC-Bridgestone Invitational, the final WGC Championship of the season. It was his third PGA Tour win of this year and sixth worldwide victory since the Tour Championship last year, and puts him back atop the FedEx Cup standings. And he's got to be a legitimate Player of the Year candidate now, especially if he keeps that form heading into the PGA Championship. So we've talked about him. We've been picking him, he showed he put it all together against one of the best top-heavy fields in golf.
Right.
It's time for him to win a major. I don't know if it'll be this week, but it's time.
So young still, too.
Candidate.
Yeah.
So
So
young.
is this 61 the round of the year? Final round 61 at Firestone?
I'll be top 3.
Not a lot better, is there?
No.
I don't care if it's a 59 or not.
No, I mean, a couple of the other low ones this year have been like Saturday, or what was it? Justin Thomas was Saturday.
Right.
Yeah, the
Grace did
U.S.
something.
Open. Grace was 62 in a major. But again, neither one of those guys won the tournament.
Right.
He shot so well that he blew the field away. It was shaping up to be a close finish. He won comfortably.
Yep, sure did.
So,
my vote, this is the round of the year in my mind right now.
Yeah, I couldn't argue with that.
We'll allow it.
Judges.
Survey says we approve.
But he gets going. He's a machine. And he doesn't stray. His putting is his weakness. And I saw him play a couple holes on, I think it was Thursday. He missed 2 4-footers, which kept him down a little bit on the leaderboard. But then once he gets that putter going, because he's a machine as far as hitting the ball down the fairway and on the green.
Yeah, super slow.
And you can't judge him by his body reaction, because every shot he hits, it looks like it's a terrible shot.
Yeah.
The way he leans his body and sometimes drops the club, and he's 10 feet.
Right.
You know, but his putting is suspect.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's probably below average to PGA Tour. But if he putts well that week, he's as good as anybody.
No question. The way he strikes the ball, and he just puts it all together like he did this week. Obviously.
Yep.
I like him to keep rolling into this week.
Favorite in going into FedEx Cup playoffs, I would say.
Oh yeah.
Seeing that he's top the FedEx Cup point standing, so if he can remain in the top 5 at the end of the year, he's guaranteed a spot in the Tour Championship, which will be tough for him to drop out at this point of the top 5. So yeah, Hideki Matsuyama, it's legit. And other than that, taking away any other storylines from the Bridgestone, Spieth was paired with Kuchar in the final round, which was kind of interesting, right? I think it kind of hurt him, Spieth, on Sunday, and probably Kuchar as well, because just the fact that they're both playing together in a final round again, and it's not a major. I think they were both a little loose. They were definitely loose about it, looser than they were at Birkdale the week before.
Yeah.
So
one thing back to Matsuyama real quick. I mean, he's got it rolling too. He's going to be tough on that the President's Cup.
Yes.
He's going to be really, really tough to contend with. And, the timing is perfect for that, too. That's the week after the Tour Championship this
6
year.
weeks away from now.
Yeah.
You can believe that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
6 weeks to the President's Cup, 5 weeks to the Tour Championship. So
I agree with your comment about the pairing with Spieth and Kuchar. It probably took away from their efforts just a little bit. If this was a month later, 2 months later, I don't think we'd make the same comment. But, so quick, just 2 weeks later.
yeah.
And ironically, again on a Sunday. If that was a Thursday, you don't think nothing of it.
Right.
So, and they were
Both in contention.
6 shots out of the lead, though, maybe.
Yeah.
Not that they were out of it,
right.
but
Yeah.
it's really good. Well, if they shot 61, they would have done well.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So it was there, but I'm sure the crowd felt the same way. The media felt the same way. So,
But another WGC event in the books, and it's the final one of the season. I like them. I like the World Golf Championships. They're big. They're definitely bigger. You're guaranteed a really good field, except for that one in China, the HBC. That you don't always get the big field there, but all the other ones, you get a really strong field. You can count on all the big guys playing. So, I know my DraftKings team didn't do that great actually our little mini league, I won that one, but my other teams didn't do so well. And the numbers are out for the PGA Championship, by the way, for DraftKings, and I tell you right now, it's tough. It's going to be a tough week to pick your team.
A lot of good choices.
So the WGC at Firestone was not the only event this week. We also had the Stableford scoring system, the modified Stableford scoring system at the Barracuda out in Vegas. Reno, Nevada, I suppose. Sierra Nevada's mountains in the background. Beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
What a gorgeous course. And Chris Stroud won. So Chris Stroud might be a name you recognize. You've probably seen him somewhere in the middle of the leaderboards over the past 11 years and 290 events that he played in and didn't win, or 289. But he won this week. And it's just amazing. And I don't care if it's a secondary event and the best player in the world aren't there. You win a PGA Tour event. after trying 289 times. Congratulations to Stroud. And he did it in style. 3 birdies and an eagle over the final 5 holes. Earned a spot in the sudden death playoff against Greg Owen, who was making his 265th start without a win. And Richie Wierenski, who you might remember from the Big Break, winning the Big Break. And on the second playoff hole, Stroud logged a birdie to earn his first win ever. And now he's got that 2-year exemption. Now he's been able to hang around the tour for 11 years. But now every time he tees it up, he's a PGA Tour champ. So,
Yep.
His life got easier. He can pick where he wants to play.
Pressure's off.
Goes to a Masters next year.
Did you guys watch that playoff?
I did.
Yeah.
I did. Greg Owen, there's similar stories.
Yeah.
Him and Chris Stroud. Then you got Richie Wierenski, probably was in his 20th event maybe, so totally the other side of the coin. He'll do well. Wierenski is quite a player.
Yeah,
He'll do okay.
Yeah. A lot of people think it's a novelty, winning the Big Break, but this guy's legit, obviously.
Yeah.
There's been some good ones come through there, so I'd like to see him do well.
And I like that golf course. I like that format. That golf course is kind of set up for that format. They had a drivable par 4 on the way in. A couple of guys got on and just missed eagle opportunities. Of course, the 18th hole was very reachable. I like the setup. A little different, unique. 1 or 2 of those a year is enough.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you still got to play well to win the golf tournament, no matter what the scoring system is. And this guy he posted his score like 2 hours before.
Yeah.
And a lot of the leaders weren't doing all that great because Wierenski came from the bottom, or not quite a ways back as well. Owen seemed to have the lead, but kind of plateaued.
Yeah, you can only, that obviously the modified Stableford rewards birdies and eagles, especially eagles. So Stroud's finish with 3 birdies and an eagle gets him into that playoff, and just like that, he wins his first PGA Tour tournament. So
remember Greg Owen? He's the guy that 4-putted the 17th hole at Bay Hill 10 or 15 years ago. He had command of that tournament. He missed, and then did something. I think he might have hit in the water in 18 as well. But he's making these comments now, saying, basically, it just doesn't matter. He just plays golf to have fun, and all of a sudden he's up on the leaderboard. Because I assume he still makes enough money. Him and his family are going to go to Colorado on a vacation. But I think from him mentally, he's flipped over to say, I'm not going to grind. I'm not going to work.
Yeah.
I'm still going to work some, but not. It's not life or death.
Right.
And who knows? It might turn into success for him.
Yeah, well, you try and you try and you try, and then when you back off a little bit, you finally break through. It's just golf's a weird game. There's so many different approaches you can take to it, and to grind for 11 years. I'm sure, I bet Chris Stroud was I'll probably never win out here, but I've made a good living for myself. So. Yeah, to get that win, it's got to feel good. It's hard, man. There's a lot of guys out there who are really good golfers every week, and you got to beat 100 something of them.
Yep.
He's a PGA Tour winner.
Yep. Good
Forever.
for Chris Stroud.
There's only 32 opportunities a year or something like that. So,
well, before we get to our PGA Tour, our PGA Championship preview, with the PGA Championship starting this Thursday. Time to review the Ballhawk golf ball finding glasses. Now, you may have seen these on social media. That's where I saw them. Clicked through, made the purchase, and for $21.97. And we showed them here last week, but I hadn't tried to find any golf balls with them. So took them out on the course, put them in my bag. First thing, we lose a ball. First, you're looking for it a little bit, and then I'm like, wait, let me go get these golf ball finding glasses. So pull them out of this case, which is a zipper. Doesn't work that great. And then, throw them on and start looking for the golf ball. And so three times I tried to find my golf ball using these glasses. And 3 times we found the ball, but somebody else in the group found it before me. So how good can these things be? And let me tell you something, they're not very good. Because everything, there was some leaves down, they look like golf balls. Your vision's not as sharp as it would be without them. So what it does, it makes anything that's not green, that's, any type of shade of white stand out. So little clover flowers, So I put them on, you look out, and then all of a sudden there's all these like white blemishes all across the landscape, and you can't tell a golf ball. Matter of fact, I would think I'd see it, and I'd pull it up, and I'd go, that's not a golf ball, that's a leaf. So they're terrible. These are not good. I would not recommend buying them. They look cool. I mean, I look great right now.
You do look great.
With these.
I'm not sure about great, but.
And the final thing.
Wow, tough crowd over here.
The final thing about these glasses is that, okay, I've been looking for my ball for 2 or 3 minutes wearing them. Then I take them off, and I'm all of a sudden it's like you're colorblind, and you got to go hit a golf shot. You know what I mean? It's just they're not good. They don't do the job that they say they do.
So basically, if your ball is in the fairway sitting up in green grass, you'll be able to find it.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Yeah.
But if it's fall and the leaves are down, you're
oh my
you're
God,
totally
you have
screwed.
no chance. Or in the woods. Like one time I was looking in the woods, and I put them on, and all of a sudden there's like 80 white dots all over the place, and it's like...
There it is.
Yeah.
There it is.
Sorry, Ballhawk. I got to give you the negative review on these bad boys.
Hey, we're honest on this show, if anything. You know what I mean? We're not gonna just sugarcoat it.
Well, I figured it was kind of... I didn't have much faith that they were going to be that great, but it was actually worse than... I think it makes it harder to find your golf ball, actually, so kind of a gimmick here. Especially on top of the fact that you got to pull it out, put them on, and just...
So for $21.97, you can make it harder to find your golf ball with those glasses.
That's right.
All right.
Yeah.
And, screw with your brain when you take them off, and everything looks different. Yeah. So I was 0 for 3. That was it. I'm done. If I can't, these things are
fair test.
Yeah.
3 times.
Yeah, 3 different. One time, or twice was in the rough, open where we just had trouble finding a ball off the fairway in the rough, and once was in the woods.
What about driving? Did you try him driving?
No, I took them right off. The
good backup lawn mowing glasses, maybe?
No, you mean
No.
driving, like hitting a golf ball off a tee or driving a car?
No, driving a car.
Oh, okay. I wonder how they'd be like hitting a golf ball, though.
Some other reason to wear them because he paid $30 or $22 for them.
No, I can't find any reason to wear them, honestly. Other than, like I said, I look pretty good in them.
There you go.
I'm not sure about that pretty good, but maybe you could give them to one of your competitors that you don't care for.
I'll re-gift it. I'll give it to somebody. So here's a great gift for you: golf ball finding
Watch
glasses.
out. Well, you and I got to be careful.
Watch out.
The only way that these work is if you are playing a course that's so well manicured that it's all green and there's nothing else.
But why would you need them then anyways?
Exactly. You'd probably see your ball there.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's silly. It's a gimmick, but you do get this nice carrying case and this nice
cleaning cloth?
to keep them clean.
Yeah, maybe take your nice sunglasses and put them in that case.
The zipper doesn't work too well though on it, so it's
not even worse.
But
So the Ready Caddy got a rating of what? 3.5? Or 4?
Out of 4?
3.5?
If we're going on a scale of 4, I would say they got a 3. I'd give them a 3 just because of the sizing with the one pocket. Not great for a cell phone.
Right. So this would be what then for this device on that same scale?
Zero.
Yeah,
it doesn't do what it says it's going to do. Not even close. Matter of fact, it makes it harder. In my estimation, it makes it harder to find your golf ball than if you didn't wear them at all. So I can't give it anything.
Wow.
It's fair.
We
got a benchmark on both sides here.
First ever golfj.com 0 rating.
Somebody had to do it.
Oof.
So, Quail Hollow, right? Final major of the season. It's hard to believe.
Glory's last shot.
It's hard to believe that we've gotten this far, in the season already. But it is. It's the season's final major.
Yep.
It's at Quail Hollow. This is the first time Quail Hollow's hosted a major championship, which it doesn't seem like that's
it's great
the
venue.
case. But site of the Wells Fargo Championship for the past several years. And it's a long course, 7,600 yard, par 71. It's a favorite of a lot of the players who play at the Wells Fargo. And they've made changes. So immediately after what was it, last year's Wells Fargo? They went to work, and Tom Fazio created 3 new holes, including a new 524-yard opening hole made by merging the old first and second holes, and numbers 4 and 5 are also new made from the previous par 5 fifth hole. So there's a new look to it being unveiled. And then there's famously the Green Mile, which is the closing 3 holes that was already deemed as the toughest on the PGA Tour. Now, for the PGA Championship, probably going to be even tougher with some higher rough than maybe they have at Wells Fargo, and maybe even quicker greens. It's course generally should be tougher. So it has hosted. It was the host of the Kemper Open from 1969 to 79. So the course has been around for a while. And it also staged the World Seniors Invitational in the 80s, and the President's Cup's coming here in 2021. So first, a little bit about the venue. It's a unique first-time major venue, and it's not in this vein of the Chambers Bays and the Wisconsin Erin Hills. You know, this is more of a traditional golf course. And it's the first time there down in North Carolina.
More of like a northeastern type course. The tree lines and the fairways and everything that are typical of what you'll see at U.S. Open or more of a U.S. Open type venue than a PGA even. But I'm looking forward to it. It's always been a tough course. Now they've taken one hole and made it 2, and 2 holes made that 1. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out. It'll be interesting to see what the players think about that. Some of the differences there, because like you said, Jim, a lot of those guys really love going there. I know that tournament in the past, the players have always raved about the venue and how they took care of it. Obviously, the PGA of America is taking care of the players at this tournament, so it's not the same. The group there isn't running it, but they have always spoken highly about the venue.
Yeah, sure have.
Rory got his first win there.
Yeah.
A few years back before he went on his big run. So I know they're talking about him as one of the favorites. Whether that's the case or not, he is playing well. But what can you say about this course? It's definitely suited, and you would think that it would have hosted more big events in the past.
Yeah, I think the thing going against it might be that it's a regular tour stop course. But I don't have any problem with it. What do you think of the course, Brownie? Got those allergies still,
Yeah,
huh?
still got them, yes.
Man, that's been a long summer.
It's been a long summer. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, I've heard for allergies, using the nasal spray.
Doing it.
You tried that?
Local Honey doing it.
You're doing that all the...
Antihistamine's doing it. Got an appointment tomorrow, so we'll see.
It's just the wet summer isn't helping. Everything's still growing.
Yeah, Mother Nature's not treating us very well.
It's that grass he's laying in.
Yeah, there you go. Allergic to the backdrop here. I saw some of the mods on the Golf Channel tonight, and I liked the way the course laid out. Frank Nobilo was out doing some hole by hole, and I like is the fairways run right to the bunkers. There's no second cut.
Okay.
Sorry, but there's no second cut to slow it down maybe before it gets to the bunker. Yeah. So it kind of rolls right in, and I think that's interesting, and I like that because that puts a little more premium on being straight as well, because the bunkers aren't as penalizing as the rough. But I like the layout. The greens look tremendous because they got a couple of them. I'm shocked what they've done in a year to get a tournament ready for a major golf tournament. Right. And actually less than a year because they played the golf course for a while. Yeah. But the very next day they were in there with the dozers and everything they had to do and got their project going. But they got all year to work there as well.
So the tight cut leading to the bunkers is something new. That's not how it is on the regular tour stop.
A lot of times you see the collar all the way around the bunkers.
Yeah.
Even on the edge of the fairway, say 3-4 feet. Right. And maybe an inch of grass, and it sometimes can stop the ball, right? But this looks like it not only is all fairway, but it tends to look like it drops into the bunker as well. Mm-hmm. So, which a lot you see more of on the British Open type, where the ball just runs and runs and runs right into a bunker. The other thing, they staged the bunkers on the newer holes to thinking about what players might hit off the tee. So there's a bunker in each landing area as far out, and the first hole you're going to see is 524. They got a bunker at 360. Mm-hmm. And they got another one back at, say, 290, another one back at 250. Okay, so no matter which way you'd want to play, there's either a bunker for a target and or a bunker to collect your ball. Okay, so it's an interesting concept, and I'm sure it's going to play havoc to anybody who hits it either 250 or 360.
Right.
Right. The rough didn't look too long. They said it was going to be between 2 and 2.5 inches, but they want the ball to sit more up on top of the rough to create flyers.
Oh, wow.
They don't want it to go down to the bottom and be a chip out contest.
Yeah.
They want that grass to get between the club face and the ball and get that ball to zoom.
There'll be
to
some
be the challenge.
unpredictable
Yeah.
results hidden out of there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to compare the scoring at the PGA Championship to the Wells Fargo scores.
Right.
You'd expect them to be much higher, so we'll see.
I think the course is only like 40 yards longer than it was.
Right.
Even there's some significant changes to holes, obviously, but the yardage hasn't changed.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's 8,000 yards all of a sudden. It's as long as it was before.
Now, remember a few weeks ago we were talking about the Travelers. How that short course yielded some high scores,
Right.
Yeah.
and how designers need to look elsewhere than distance.
Right.
And it's interesting, just go off topic a little bit here. Augusta National purchased 2 adjoining holes from Augusta Country Club.
Yeah.
So theoretically, they're going to be able to lengthen the 13th hole and maybe make some other changes in terms of length. So, it's just that ongoing debate of how to keep these major golf tournaments, from becoming obsolete with the length. But then, like we say, you go down to the TPC River Highlands for the Travelers, one of the shorter courses, and the players struggled. So there's a lot of ways to make a golf course tough. You don't always have to make it longer.
Right.
So, if you want to watch the PGA Championship this week, you're going to tune to TNT, which is the way it's been for the PGA Championship, I think, for the past several years, but something a little different to the eye there. I think I watched TNT. I know they got NBA basketball, but it's one of the 4 channels for the NCAA tournament and the PGA Championship first couple of rounds. So Thursday, Friday, 1 to 7 p.m. Eastern on TNT. And then Saturday, Sunday, you're going to get 11 a.m. to 2 on TNT, and then directly 2 to 7, so no half-hour break in there like they do normally with Golf Channel and CBS or NBC or whatever it would be. 2 to 7 on CBS for the weekend, and I think we'd all agree that the PGA Championship is probably our least favorite major. Is there anybody that would disagree with that comment?
I think it's 4th on the scale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard to say the least favorite, but
Least favorite of the 4.
It is. So tough call, but yeah, it's 4th in my mind.
Yeah.
The other 3 are. There's always something unique about them.
Mm-hmm.
There's really, I don't know, unless it's like at Oak Hill or one of the bigger clubs, that a U.S. Open would be at. It just doesn't have the uniqueness. Augusta, the uniqueness of Augusta, and it's the same.
The time of year too.
Time of year, same place that the U.S. Open,
National
Championship, the ridiculous rough, fast greens. The British Open or the Open. The weather, you never know what you're going to get. Most of the courses, you don't need to hit driver a lot of the times. What is the PGA? It's like,
It's the Professional Golfers Association's championship. So you're going to see a lot of club pros there, which makes the field a little weaker, but it's also, I think, probably the biggest field, maybe. And maybe I'm wrong on that.
I think you're right. I think it's the biggest field, but it's if not close to the U.S. Open might be close to the size of that field, but... I think it is the biggest field, but like you said, it's watered down a little bit. No offense to those guys.
But it's also probably the strongest field. Is as strong as any of the others. I mean, at the top,
top to bottom.
We say one of the fields are weaker. That Augusta's weak because it's smaller, and you get Billy Casper sometimes. You get these older guys in there still playing. U.S. Open, you get some amateurs in there.
Right.
Same with the British Open, or the Open. They're just calling it the Open. Interestingly enough, because with Brexit, there's some talk that, maybe Scotland might not be part of Britain anymore. There could be some. So they've rebranded it just the Open the past couple of years, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's something else to think about. But
yeah, I think you're right there. It's just it just doesn't have the pizzazz, and it's almost in a dead spot, really. I mean, 2 weeks ago was the Open.
Sean McKeel,
Rich
Beam,
some of the winners. Now John Daly brought a lot of attention to it.
Yeah,
And there's been some, Jason Day won it. There's been some great tournaments with a little controversy with Dustin Johnson the year, he grounded his club at Whistling Straits. There's been some big winners too. Tiger's had some great rounds there, and some great duels with some of those guys. And a couple that really, two of the ones for sure that he won were unbelievable, back and forths. Mm-hmm. So it's a good it's a great tournament. I mean, it's a major, but I would say that I almost like watching the Players Championship just as much as I like watching this. And I think I think just some of the players and the way 16, 17, and 18 are set up on Sunday, and you come down there and there's usually some action there.
The Players is awesome, but when you win the Players, you haven't won one of the 4 majors, which is everybody's goal. So whether you win the U.S. Open or the Masters or the PGA, it counts as one major.
Yeah, no, I get you there. I'm just saying as far as viewing it and liking the tournament, I like the Players more than I like the PGA. And I just think that I don't know what you would do to change it. And I hope, I don't know. I don't think I'm going to like having it if they move it to May. I don't think that's going to make it better.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe because it's sooner. You've got the Masters and then it would go to the PGA. I think the PGA is probably the fairest test of all the majors, like the most balanced playing field for the whole field to compete on, which is probably why you get a Sean McKeel or a Rich Beam.
Right.
But yeah, it's my least favorite for a lot of reasons. But it's to me, it's my 4th favorite tournament of the year. It's still a major, and when I watch that on Sunday, those guys know it's a major, and Jordan Spieth is going to be going for the career Grand Slam because it's a major.
It does have the best trophy, I will say.
The Wanamaker,
big trophy,
big trophy. Yeah, they definitely make up for any lack or any talk of something else. That's unique for sure.
Yeah. What do you think, Brownie?
Well, I think if there's an identity struggle here, it's because of the season. It's the middle of August. Most of the U.S., the golf is over the hump as far as the midpoint, right? And
football.
And you're right, college football and NFL football are big distractions to an awful lot of Americans. So maybe moving this to May would be more advantageous as far as the golf season goes from that point, because we get excited about Augusta because it's April and it's kind of the rite of spring, but it's also Augusta. It's there every year. We know the golf course, we know the history. It's going to be tough to ever compete with the aura of that event, right?
Yeah.
And the Open's the Open, but the U.S. Open's the U.S. Open. I'm not even going to compare it to the British Open because I'm talking about U.S. soil type tournaments. So, but I think their problem is it's the identity of being in the middle of August.
Yeah,
when it was at Oak Hill in 2013, the Buffalo Bills are practicing 2 miles away.
That's right.
Yeah. And there's 25,000 fans over that. I don't know how many fans, but there's thousands of fans over St. John Fisher watching football practice while we're over watching a major golf championship. And what got the most TV coverage on Channel 8 News? Football practice.
Yeah, the local TVs were covering the Bills.
Yeah,
that's a good point. It goes counterintuitive to any other sport. The later you go in the season, the more the drama builds. Right. Now that we have the FedEx Cup playoffs, I don't know. It almost makes sense that you'd replace the Tour Championship with the PGA Championship.
That would be cool. But then you'd be down to 30 guys, so...
I mean, they're also different organizations. That's what people might not understand.
Right.
The PGA Championship is not run by the PGA Tour. It's run by the Professional Golfers Association of America, like the club pros, like your, which is another thing about it that makes it unique. And it's got history too. It's got a lot of history. Not the history of the Open, but it's
maybe moving it to May would be better. The more I think about it, I mean, if you move the Players back to March where it was, now you got 5 straight months with one big tournament, plus you're sprinkling the WGCs here and there, and
they're tightening it. They've expanded the season, and now they're tightening the season.
Yeah, and doing that too, because the FedEx Cup's kind of gaining momentum now. I think people now that are used to it, it's definitely those are four quality tournaments at the end of the season right in a row. So you put this one, and then 2 weeks later you start I think it loses a little bit of that as well. I mean, so much is compressed, like you said. Maybe it would work in May, but
as far as the playoffs go, they're shying away from going head to head with football. It's just I don't know. I enjoyed the playoffs as it was. It was an alternative to football. I could channel surf a little bit. I actually preferred to watch the golf, and then again, turn to Red Zone, channel surf over to the Red Zone channel, and all of a sudden you miss like 8 holes. So I don't know.
True.
It's tough, man, in this day and age with everybody. It's the whole time deal. You only have so much time, which is what's hurting golf in general, too, because it takes so much time to play golf.
Yeah.
Man, I just wish you could slow it down again like it was in the 70s and 80s.
There's a lot of options out there for your attention.
Yeah.
I think if they do consider moving that to May, they got to be a little cautious about what part of May, because you want that tournament available for the entire U.S.
Mm-hmm.
And if you go the first week of May, for example, the Northeast sometimes isn't ready.
Yeah, Oak Hill would not be
or maybe
ready
even the
for it.
Northwest isn't ready.
Yeah, big risk.
So the last thing you want to do is have that only in the South and in the West, and say you only got basically half the country that could host it, and it's a PGA event. So I think they'd have to move it more towards the end of May, but then you got the Jack Nicklaus event is at the end of May. If you look at the normal schedule, there's some things that are already dug in. Not that they can't be shuffled.
U.S. Open's always Father's Day weekend.
It is.
But I think if you put the PGA Championship into May, it does need to be late May, and then the U.S. Open needs to push further into June.
Yeah, maybe a week
and the
back.
British Open needs to push further into July.
Right.
Yeah.
Make them all the last week of the month.
Yeah.
So, because I'd like to see the PGA come back to Oak Hill. I think it's already on the schedule anyways. I'm not sure, 2023 or something.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I haven't heard it. I'm not
Can't
sure
wait.
if it's been
Can't wait.
officially announced, but you can't let them guys make it. They're not going to make a decision to squeeze half the U.S. out of it.
Right.
So just can't do it.
Very good point.
So we probably should start talking about some of the players.
Mm-hmm.
As I mentioned, Jordan Spieth, second in FedEx Cup standings right now, pointing towards a shot at the career Grand Slam, joined by number 3 in the world, Dustin Johnson, defending champion Jimmy Walker. Remember, he won his first major last year.
Yeah.
Before getting Lyme, he's the one that got Lyme disease, right?
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
It's a deep field. All but 2 of the top 115 in the world rankings are slated to compete. You're going to be missing Martin Keimer, number 63 in the world with a sore shoulder, and number 75, Scott Piercy, for unspecified reasons, probably because he's on my fantasy golf team.
Brant Snedeker dropped out today too.
Oh, did he? That's too bad.
He withdrew again because he's got they called it a sternum injury.
Oh, really?
Last week they called it a rib cartilage type injury. But he had that problem 3-4 years ago, missed some events.
Yeah, that's too bad. So, again, that just shows what a strong field it is.
Mm-hmm.
Just going to be missing those 3. And also includes the top 20 finishers from June's PGA Professionals National Championship. So, Spieth, it wasn't very long ago he won the Open Championship, and now here he is just a few weeks later ready to go for the career Grand Slam. And he would beat Tiger as the youngest player to do it if he wins. He just celebrated his 24th birthday last week. Rory McIlroy's been to Quail Hollow. He's won at Quail Hollow, as you mentioned before, Rhett, using a final round 62, winning his first PGA Tour title in 2010. Shot 61 on his way to 2015 victory. And he also lost in a playoff to Ricky Fowler in 2013. So, I mean, how can Rory McIlroy not be the favorite? But he's not, according to the DraftKings numbers that came out. Jordan Spieth's the favorite.
Yep.
And it's a long course, which wouldn't play to just Jordan Spieth's advantage. It would play to McIlroy's. And the two were kind of joking with each other today, too, talking about how they think the other one's the favorite, So, we'll have to see. It also seems to play well into Brooks Koepka's hands, Sergio, Dustin Johnson, obviously, who took 3 consecutive wins heading into the Masters. Hard to believe this is his last chance to win a major now in 2017. So, and then of course you got Matsuyama, who just is playing better golf than anybody by far right now. If you take this week at Firestone as any example, Zach Johnson's back. I don't think this course necessarily suits him, but he's back to punching those top 10 finishes every week.
Yep.
Thomas Peters sniffed at it for a little bit at the Bridgestone before falling apart a little bit on Sunday, but he certainly fits the mold for a guy who could play well. And old Charlie Hoffman just can't seem to get a win, but he's in contention every single week. This week should probably be no different.
He's on fire.
You know, Paul Casey, Brooks Koepka, Dustin Johnson, Tony Finau, one of your guys. Rhett is well-suited, ranking 4th in greens and regulation from the fairway. Been all over the leaderboard this year. Hasn't been able to get any wins. Adam Scott, Mickelson's done well at Quail Hollow. 2nd in all-time earnings at Quail Hollow without a win, but 11 top 12 finishes. John Rahm still chasing his first top 20 in a major. He's certainly done a lot better than that in regular events. Henrik Stenson has a poor record at Quail Hollow, but he's starting to come out of that slump that semi-slump, I guess you'd call it, he's been in. Kuchar looking for a bounce back from that Open Championship disappointment. And Mark Leishman, Alex Noren, Patrick Reed, Tommy Fleetwood, these are all the top contenders. I don't know. What are you guys thinking? Who are you feeling this week?
Well, as far as it's hard to not see Ricky Fowler or Tommy Fleetwood being right up top there. They both have 9 top 10s this year. I mean, more than anybody else. And Ricky, we always talk about him. Is he going to get one? When's he going to break through? Tommy Fleetwood's had a great year.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. Neither one of them I'm going to pick to win it, but I would definitely look for them to be there over the weekend for sure. I like Charlie Hoffman and I like Rory. Those are my guys that I think that I would put down as picking a winner. I didn't pick a winner, but.
Well, which one? If you got to pick a winner,
I'll go with Rory.
Okay, hey, it's tough to. He's starting to win me over as well. After I was kind of I'm not anti against him, but I was not been predicting him to do well this year. But the past, few weeks, especially this past week in particular, he seems to be returned to form. And if the putter goes well, Brownie, I don't know. Is he your pick? Who do you think?
Well, I think he's the favorite. He was going to be my pick, but I'm going to consider him off the table just so we can have fun with this.
Okay.
Because I actually like Rory and Charlie Hoffman. I think Charlie Hoffman's had a great year.
Yeah,
I think he's going to have at least a top 5 finish because he seems to be that type of player this year.
Mm-hmm.
If he makes a putt, he might win. I'm going to go with Hideki Matsuyama, just riding the hot horse right now. And that's my pick. Second pick might be, if I make a second pick, I would take Paul Casey.
Yeah, hey, there's another guy who's been ultra consistent this year. Yeah, I think that, I've been riding Jordan Spieth for a couple of years now. Even last year.
You rode Jason Day last year.
Well, I did ride Jason Day through but what I believe is that Jordan Spieth is a transcendent player. So I believe that for him to fulfill his destiny almost is that type of player. Not the next Tiger Woods or anything like that, but an all-time great. An all-time great. And you can argue that Rory McIlroy is going to be an all-time great, and you can argue that Matsuyama is going to be an all-time great, but I feel that Spieth is that type of player, and it just seems to me that he came out of nowhere to win the Open, really. A lot of people picked him and stuff, but still, he had gone over a full calendar year, without really contending so much in majors. And I just feel that if he can survive the first couple rounds and get, be within reach, in contention, be on the first page of the leaderboard heading into Saturday and then Sunday, that he'll be almost impossible to beat because he's got that. Whatever that is that makes a guy like Charlie Hoffman come in second and third every time he's in contention, and a guy like Spieth seem to pull it out, whether it's at the Travelers and he plays like crap and he still wins, or it's the Open and he rolls in a million putts and still wins. Right. So I'm going with Spieth, but I'm nervous because you want to go with a bomber, right, on this course. It's 7,600 yards.
Tony Finau.
I don't know if Finau will win, but I certainly think he's a good pick for your DraftKings team.
Absolutely.
Making the cut and finishing top 20, maybe top 10. I don't know if I could pick him as a winner.
Right.
But, yeah, we've got some great groups. Just if you're planning on watching, either on TNT the first couple of rounds or streaming. I imagine they're going to be able to find a stream on the internet. I should have researched that. But it seems like there's always a way to stream them nowadays for the big ones. But you got going off at 8:25 a.m. on Friday, Jordan Spieth, Brooks Koepka, and Sergio off the 10th tee, and they'll be together for the second round at a 1:35 tee time as well off the first tee. You got a great group of Dustin Johnson, Jason Day, and Henrik Stenson going off at 8:35 off the 10th tee on Thursday and 1:45 off the first tee on Friday. An interesting little group of Jason Duffner, Phil Mickelson, and Jimmy Walker. And then here's a good one, John Rahm, Ricky Fowler, and Rory McIlroy. 1:35 in the afternoon on Friday off the first tee and 8:25 a.m. off the 10th tee on Friday. So Thursday they're going in the afternoon, Friday in the morning. You got Matsuyama playing with Ernie Els and Ian Poulter. Past PGA Championship winners Davis Love III, Keegan Bradley, and Padraig Harrington are in the same group. Reigning Players Champion Siwoo Kim is paired with Billy Horschel and Matthew Fitzpatrick. Matt Kuchar, of course, runner-up at the Open. Justin Rose was the runner-up at the Masters. They're paired together with Brent Snedeker. Well, they're not, actually, so I don't know what they're going to do about that. They'll probably have to throw in whoever's replacing Snedeker.
Right.
Whoever the first alternate is.
Right.
Steph Curry. Now, you want to raise ratings? Throw Steph Curry in that group for the major. See how he does in a major, just as a novelty. No, I wouldn't do that.
He might duff it off the first tee.
I bet he'd beat a lot of the club pros.
He's from Carolina, too, isn't he?
He is. Charlotte.
He was born and raised in Carolina.
Yeah, right there.
Why not?
It's a homer.
Get him in there.
That would be something.
I think you're right. He would beat a lot of their club pros. Because he can hit it a long ways, too. I mean, he's not small.
Apparently, yeah.
He's a good player.
He's like 6'4". He looks. Everybody thinks he's small because he's on the court, but he's not a small guy.
Well, a couple things to get to real quick. We just gave you our winners. We're running out of time here. We got the PGA Championship this weekend, then the Wyndham, then the Northern Trust, then the Dell at TPC Boston, BMW Championship at Conway Farms near Chicago, the Tour Championship at East Lake, September 21st to 24th, and then September 28th kicks off the President's Cup. So winding down the season. The picks for the Solheim Cup were announced. The captain's pick, Julie Inkster added 18-year-old LPGA rookie Angel Yin and 25-year-old Austin Ernst to the U.S. squad, as Sorenstam brought on Anna Nordquist, Emily Pedersen, Caroline Masson, and Madeline Sagstrom. And Paula Creamer absent. But you said, Brownie, there was a last-minute change. Somebody had to drop out there.
Jessica Korda backed out this afternoon.
Yeah.
Citing an arm injury of some sort. So she's not going to play.
Maybe Creamer will actually get in there. At only 31 years old, you'd think she would be, but she has not played well.
She hasn't played well.
Yeah, since the last Solheim Cup where she was picked, she was the captain's pick the last time.
Yeah.
It was barely in, and she's had an up and down couple of years. So, maybe it'd be great if she added her as a captain, though. I think our assistant captain. I bet she'd do a great job with that, and she'll be back in it again at some point. She's just got to get her game back in shape.
Right.
But yeah, she'd be great to have around because she has that type of passion, like Sergio Garcia type passion for the Ryder Cup. Same deal with Solheim.
Yep.
So, Seneca Falls Country Club beats Silver Creek. We tied them at the Canal Cup this year. Doug, you've been captain of the Seneca Falls Country Club team for several years. You handed the torch over to longtime member Ben Wong. We retained the cup in your absence. It was a close one. It was a great day of golf. 14 straight for SFCC in that one, but something amazing happened at Silver Creek on Friday. Was it Friday?
It was Friday.
Yeah, why don't you go ahead? You were there.
I was there. So Friday, there was a tournament there for the Bill Luce Memorial Tournament, it's called, that benefits the Waterloo Rec Center. And I've played in it for probably 30 years. But holes in one are rare, especially in my mind, seeing I don't have one. But there was 2 holes in one there Friday, one on the 3rd hole by Ed Courtney, and one on the 17th hole by Jim Spina, and they were in the same foursome.
Jeez.
Yeah, I don't understand that. That's amazing.
Wow.
And
Jimmy Spina got one, huh?
He did, yes.
He got the one on 17?
Yes, and it was his last hole. They had started on 18.
Oh, wow.
That was their last hole of the day, so they got the first one kind of early and the last one very late.
A walk-off.
And I was on the 12th green when the first one happened, so I heard the roar on the third green. I come right down the hill. I was off the golf course when the one happened on 17. I'm not sure if they could see it go in the hole. I didn't get the story because it was a little bit uphill there. But I heard them when they were driving in with the carts. They were going 30 miles an hour with the carts or whatever, and there was a lot of yelling. I was doing the scoring, so I was writing down the ones on the score sheet. But there's 2 holes in one in the same round of golf in the same foursome.
It's amazing. Like you said, how many par threes have you played in your life?
6.2 million.
these guys get drop a couple in the same day. And I've got a couple hole in ones, and I've been in groups where there's been hole in ones, and every time it changes everything for the rest of the day, because at that point something really rare could happen. You like happened Friday, someone else could get a hole in one, or you yourself could double up, which would be just totally amazing. Yeah. So it is pretty fun, when one drops for the rest of the round, but it really becomes the story of the round, and then just to get another one, it's just hard to believe. So congratulations to those guys, and everybody in that group really saw something special that day.
Yeah, the other 2 guys must have been not too good or something. I don't know. There was 3 par threes that they missed at that golf course. So,
come on, pitch in.
But absolutely incredible. You're right. Congratulations to them individually, but as a foursome, they saw something that is rare.
Yeah,
extremely rare.
Absolutely.
So.
That's cool.
Well, it's the final major of the year, and then we almost immediately transition. You're going to have the Wyndham Championship, which is the last chance to make the playoffs. Right. More interesting to watch the players ranked around 125 than it is to even see who wins that tournament almost. It's kind of inconsequential as long as you can sneak into those playoffs, and then the playoffs start. So, and this will maybe when are they going to change the schedule? Is it going to be 2 years from now? Is this going to be the last time we play PGA golf into September?
No, I don't think there's any.
I don't think they can do that quick.
Because they've already got next year's schedule intact, so I'm not sure if they're even talking about 19. So.
Well, either way, man, major championship golf this week. Nothing like it. Hope you all enjoy it. Thanks for spending some time with us on the GolfJ.com podcast. Connect with us online on Twitter at
The Golf J.
The Golf J, yeah. And on Instagram at _GolfJ. And on Facebook at facebook.com/GolfJ. All of our episodes and the best of the wide world of golf on the web can be found at golfj.com. We'll be back next Monday night to talk all about the PGA Championship. Talk about Jordan Spieth's career Grand Slam, most likely.
Rory McIlroy's 5th major.
Yeah. Until then, friends, hit them long and not often.
GolfJ.com